Right, hello there and welcome to another Starfield video. So today we're going to be taking a look at a mod that is both free and there is also a paid version. This is EM Turrets by Phoenix. I believe I want to say there's a mod or two that like may add EM turrets to the game, but these ones have been kind of tweaked a fair bit. So it basically makes all the turrets have two power per unit, so you can have 6 turrets, which is very nice. They can be colorized, which is also very nice. And then they've got higher DPS. Okay, cool. So let's go check them out. We'll check them out on a PC first, and then we'll go and check them on Xbox. So the achievement friendly version is 100 credits, just if you want to kind of get them. But yeah, let's go check it out. All right, so we're here in New Atlantis, and we're going to check out the turret. So I will say, it's very possible that sorry, I'm just removing all the weapons. It's very possible that not all of the turrets will be available here. Because I'm using a save that doesn't have access to everything, but I think most of them were. So straight away, we've got some A class. So we've got whoops, what did I just do?
I'm sure.
I don't even know what I did there, but apparently I did something. All right, sorry. So we've got, if we go to weapons, we've got this is the EM80 suppressor turret. Same stats as this. Okay, so it's got more range. Doesn't do very much hull damage. Okay, cool. This is the EMP80. So the mod author said that they made it so that it does a small amount of hull damage, just so that it'll keep shooting when the shields go down. So next we have the EMP200 suppressor. Again, these are... What's the difference? Okay, so this one does double the EM damage. And then we have the Spark. There's the stats there on the Spark. And then we have the Nullifier. Nullifier, again, is a bit of a jump. We have the Supaku. Yeah, I think they are all actually here. Got the Supaku. And so basically there's like 2 versions, as you can see. And then if we go to the B class, we've got the B class, we've got the EMP 500, we've got the EMP 500G, which is new. We've got the Firebolt 4000, the Supaku, the Supaku 600G. And then I think that's all of the B class. Let me just double check. Oh no, we got one other one. We got the EM Turret Disruptor 3320G. And then we've got, why does it do that? And then 3340G. And then we have, I think that's, then we've got the EM Turret Immobilizer 100 MeV. And then we have, I think that's all of B. So now we're on to the C class. We've got the EM 1000 suppressor turret. We've got the EM 1000G, the Fulminator 800, the Tatsu 500, the Tatsu 501. And is that all of them, or is there another EM one? And then we've got this one. Okay, so we've got quite a few here, which is pretty interesting. So what we're gonna do is we're going to test the strongest variant from each. So we're gonna test the EMP 200, and we will test the Supaku in first. We're not going to test these ones. Just because they kind of all do around. Actually, no, that one does 48 magnetic damage. Okay, yeah, no, we're gonna test. We'll test the weakest and we'll test the strongest of each class. So these are, yeah, these are all the A class. What we're gonna do is this one, and then that's the weakest. Yeah, that's the weakest. Okay. We're gonna slap now because they're 2 power. It's really cool. You can have a crap ton of them. So you can effectively have 8, I believe. 2, 4. Yeah, you can have 8. So we're gonna slap 8 of these bad boys on, and then we're gonna obviously just have a normal weapon just to kind of trigger the combat. Let me put you there. Hopefully Bethesda fix. Oh, what? Okay, hopefully Bethesda fixes the bugs with 1, 2. I think that's all of them. Oh my dear lord, let me delete all of them. We're gonna check the A class first, and then we'll check the highest for the B, and then highest for C. We're gonna play on normal difficulty, and kind of the thing is with these is obviously they're meant to be more of a kind of an assistant for you. So we've got the, oh, there's a railgun. These railguns need to go. So we've got the pulse laser there. We've got the laser turret 1 and laser turret 2. Perfect. So let's go and check them out. We're gonna head up into space and we'll do some combat and we'll be right back. All right, so here we are. We're playing on normal difficulty. The enemy does minimal damage to us, but we do maximum damage to them. And what we're gonna do is we've got them set to max. We're gonna basically just shoot once with the laser, let the EMs kind of attack, and we're gonna see what sort of damage. So we're going to quick save here. We're gonna turn off. We're gonna save here. So we've got the, what's in this slot? So this is, the first slot is the weakest EMs, I believe. How do I check? Okay, yeah, cool. So slot 1, we've got these are actually the strongest. Oh yeah, no, these are the weakest ones. Slot 1, we're gonna see how it kind of works. Generally speaking, EM weapons, EMs are kind of, they're a tricky one because they do shield damage, but normally they don't do a whole lot of kind of damage in general. This is actually working really well. As you can see, we've disabled. Oh my god, okay. So as you can see there, we've disabled the engines, the grav drive. Let me get close enough to lock on. So we've disabled absolutely everything, which is really insane. That's really, really cool. That's really awesome. We're going to really quickly load back, and we're going to just check the other ones. See, so I'm actually impressed. Initially, I was kind of thinking, okay, like EMs, they're kind of cool, but because I remember using them on a different mod, and they didn't really do a whole lot. But now they kind of, there is obviously EMs that can damage through shields. Oh, so these ones chunk a lot more, these A-class. We've already disabled the shields, the grav drive, the engines, and the missiles. And we crit with that EM. Their ballistics are still up, so if we let it still keep firing. Okay, yeah, these are kind of insane. Holy crap. So, having just like one set of them, they're like very effective as like kind of like almost like, you know, not necessarily point defense necessarily, but like just like having them there is kind of, you know, like to basically disable. Really, really cool. Now I'm playing on, as you can see real quick, I'm playing on normal ship damage, so I deal normal damage, but the enemy deals little damage to me because I'm just trying to test it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump back down. We're going to try out the B class ones, and we're going to use the kind of the weakest and the strongest, and then we'll kind of go from there. We'll be back. All right, so now we've got, so these are the weakest B class in terms of EM damage, and then these are the strongest in terms of EM damage. Now, obviously, shield damage is another stat, as you can kind of see the difference of kind of the shield stripping with the last ones. So we're just trying to get a kind of a general overview of this one. So what we're going to do is we're going to, since these are B class, we're going to bump up the difficulty to hard this time, just to kind of see how B class performs. And then with the final C class, we will bump it up to extreme and put myself on extreme and see how long it takes them to disable the ship. So checking these out in B class, let's go. All right, so we're just putting our player ship damage to hard, which means that we're going to deal a little bit less damage. We're just going to see how it performs. Obviously, most people are going to be kind of doing it on normal, but I just wanted to see. We're going to be using the weakest EMs first on this Chimera, which is, I believe, one of the strongest ships in the game to fight against. I mean, obviously, a white level 3 would be more powerful, but this is just kind of consistent. We're going to really quickly save here. Fire once. As you can see, these ones don't do as much in terms of shield damage compared to the other ones, but it's still chunking away. But they've lost their grav drive. They lost their grav drive before the shields went down. They've lost their ballistic. Shields is now down. Engine's gone. And in a one-on-one fight, this ship is effectively scuttled. It's just lost its missiles. Now, obviously, in a 2v1, there's another ship there, so I can't board it. So we're going to really quickly jump down. We're going to try the more powerful EMs for B class. All right, so this is the more powerful EMs. The only thing about turrets is... Oh yeah, grab right, yeah, oh my, okay. And that she's effectively scuttled. She has weaponry still, but her maneuverability is pretty much cut. And we'll just really quickly. So this is just, keep in mind, this is on normal difficult, or hard. So it's doing decent damage, these vessels. Now obviously I have all the turrets facing forward. For anyone who doesn't know this, turrets can only fire in like a kind of a 90-degree cone in front of them. As you can see, once I kind of move around, you notice how, is it 90? Probably like, more realistically, it's probably like 100 and, not full 180. And they will try and attack your target, but are these turrets different? Okay, I think the turrets just contradicted myself. So we'll have to do that testing. I don't know if the mod author has like tweaked their range. They will very much fire backwards. They don't want to. They want to like obviously prioritize a different target. So we're gonna swap now to the C class, and we'll be right back. All right, so these are the weakest EM damage at C class. These are the EMP 100s. They have 35 EM damage and 70 shields, and these are the strongest. They've got 56. So we're gonna go test these out, and we're gonna put ourselves on extreme difficulty. We're gonna stay on like the easy for us, just because we're trying to test. Initially, we're just trying to test the damage, not necessarily can we survive. So we'll be back. All right, so we're gonna put the player damage to very hard, or sorry, extreme. That means we're gonna deal a lot less damage, and then we're gonna stay on very easy, just because we don't want to get one shot just yet. So we're going to really quickly test the weakest. I'm gonna save here. We're gonna test the weakest against the Chimera. Where's the Chimera? There's no. Where are you? There's always a Chimera here. Is this the one time there's not? All right. Apparently there's no Chimera here. Interesting. All right, we'll be back. All right, so I waited. I came back here and there was no Chimera, which is a bit annoying. So we're gonna have to. I tried finding a different one and I couldn't. I went to like a couple of different locations. So we are on extreme though. So we're gonna test it on this phalanx just to kind of see how it forms. This is gonna be the weakest ones. As you can see, on extreme difficulty, they're not as powerful as they seem, which makes sense because extreme is basically like a extreme is extreme. These ones, their tracking isn't the best when they're not locked on. Obviously, you can use perks to kind of remedy that. Nearly got it down, and now it's down, and the grab drive's gone. Engine, yeah, once shields are down at all, it's GG. Let's go hit the other one real quick. Obviously, because I'm technically on very easy, as you can see, the enemy isn't doing a whole lot of damage to me. Alright, so we're gonna really quickly reload, and we're gonna check out the most powerful C-class and the most powerful weapons overall. Alright, these are the most powerful C-class. We're gonna see how they do. As you can see, they chunk a lot more of the shields off. Oh yeah, these are very powerful. Like, obviously, we've lost tracking on the ship, so it's taking a minute. Now it's tracking it. And almost immediately, ship is scuttled. It still has its primary and secondary weapons, but I doubt it's going to have them for much longer. Let me target lock. Yeah, it's chunking away. See, the only thing with these turrets is that they can't target specific. They can't target specific modules. So wherever you're facing, like see, we're facing them head on now. Which, if we look, their weapons are kind of placed underneath. The ballistic is underneath, and the laser on top. So from this forward position, we have a good chance of hitting them. Now, if we were attacking from behind, it's a different story. Engines will go almost immediately and potentially grab drive, but the weapons might be a bit more trickier. So what we're going to do now is we're going to swap over to Xbox, do some testing, and I want to check some things, see how these perform. So let's go do that. All right, we're here on Xbox. We're in performance mode, 60 FPS.
Okay, no problem.
So what we're going to do is we're going to look through them real quick. So if we go to weapons, oh, well, that's a problem. Okay, so on Xbox, there is issues with the pictures of them. As you can see there, pictures are non-existent, which is very strange. Yeah, they're all going to be like that, I'm assuming. Well, the good news is they'll stand out, I suppose. Let me see. All of them going to be like that? Probably. Yeah. Okay, so that's obviously that's a bit of an issue. I'm assuming it's going to be the same with the paid version, which if that was paid version, that would kind of annoy me. But oh no, weirdly the EM turrets, the custom made ones, have what? Let me just check that. So it looks like only the ones that aren't custom made. That's interesting. What about? So is there not an A class one of you? There should be an A class disruptor, right? Did I miss it? Okay, so there is no custom A. Oh, well, they are custom, but I mean, there's no A class variants. What we're gonna do is we're going to the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna just kind of put some on, and we're gonna use them. I want to just put them like behind me and see if they shoot forward. This is just kind of a little bit of a test, and then obviously we're gonna use, which one will we use? We use some Bs. The B class ship. I think this is a B class. No, it's a C class ship. Yeah, no, it's a C class. We'll use some C's with our normal loadout. So we use, so there 1735, 2550, 1938. We're gonna use these bad boys. And the first thing, we're obviously just gonna test to make sure they work. But I'm gonna have them facing backwards just because I'm kind of curious to see what happens. If they do actually fire forward, then they should just... They should, in theory, just like loop around. Obviously, these being behind is like really good in the sense of it will cover your tail. But that's not what I'm interested in. Also, we need to... All right, so I'm just gonna kit this out, and then we're gonna go to space, check it out. All right, so we're at the eye here, and what we're basically trying to do is we're trying to determine, one, obviously, if they work, and two, will they actually fire forward? We're gonna look for, is that the Chimera? Oh, there's a long sword. Where's the other ship? What we're gonna do is we're gonna shoot this, and then we're gonna see if the turrets fire forward. Oh, yes, they do. Okay, so I'm like 90% sure base versions will not do that. Now, the only thing with them being faced backwards is if there's only a single target in front of you, obviously they will choose that single target. But sometimes they get a little bit confused, as you can see. So they can't technically shoot. Oh, no, they can. Okay, so they can technically shoot in front of you. They just get a little bit confused, as you can see. And then obviously if we were to... Now they should turn and fire. Yeah, they're going to turn and fire on the ship behind us, which is really handy. They've pretty much disabled that ship instantly. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come back in, and I'm going to position them in a way that I would use them kind of defensively, and we'll be right back. All right, so I have 3 turrets on the back facing backwards. I've got 1 on each side and then 1 on the front. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna bump it up to hard, and we're gonna see if these will kind of protect me while I'm engaging the other ship. So hopefully, I know when I track, the front one is obviously gonna fire the front, but hopefully the back ones will track whatever's behind me. That's how I always assumed turrets work, but I also assumed the turrets can shoot forward when they're not, and these ones can, kind of. The base ones I don't think can, so let's go check that out. All right, so I've put the difficulty to very hard, and what we're going to do is we're going to attack. Where's the first ship? So the longsword there, and then there's another ship there. We're going to attack the phalanx and hope their EMs kind of protect us, and see if we can kind of... I'm hoping they give us an edge, so let's do this. So obviously initially all of them want to fire. I'm going to be trying to evade. Already they've taken down... I think they're going to disable it. As you can see, those back turrets are now firing on a different target, which is really nice. So I've already pretty much disabled that first ship. We're going to really quickly gut it. And as you can see, these were doing a pretty decent job of kind of hitting the back. Now, they didn't fully disable it, but now they have, obviously. But yeah, in this configuration, I feel like having just 1 set of turrets is more than enough. You could definitely go overkill with multiple. So we're going to try this one more time in extreme. We're going to really quickly load it. Now, it should, I mean, realistically, it should work. Obviously, it depends on the situation. Usually when you kind of get attacked, they jump in. All ships will jump in front of you. So there's that kind of initial... We're going to just bump up everything to extreme. Usually there's... In the initial kind of like conflict, you kind of will do a kind of a dogfight. And then usually it kind of balances itself out. All right, so this time we're going to attack this one first. We're going to get close enough. And hopefully the turrets will, at the very least, harass the one behind me. Maybe disable it. I'm going to let this pass so that I basically have, like, the turrets on the back behind me. All right, now we're going to engage. As you can see, those back turrets are covering my tail. I'm going to boost a little bit. Shields are down. It's a hard fight. So it's a hard one, I will say, and I'm a pretty decent pilot. I know there's going to be a few people commenting saying, "You're lying, Crimson." I am pretty good most days. Obviously, this ship wasn't really built necessarily for combat. Now, you could argue the point of just having all of them forward, which I actually might do. That'll be a kind of our final test. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back down. I'm going to put all of them firing forward, and then we're going to do combat. and then we're gonna see if they kind of the insta disability or disabling lets me kind of survive better. So we'll be back. All right, so I've set the turrets up like this, so realistically they shouldn't block each other's firing line. They don't usually. So now we're going to jump up on extreme. We're going to jump the first ship. Hopefully these will disable the ship quick enough that I can then target the other one. It's going to be very close, just because usually, like, once the shields are down, as you see, it can very well disable the ship quickly, but it depends on where the weapons are. Because the turrets can't, like, directly target specific systems. I'm gonna really quickly, because they can't actually target specific systems, it kind of is a bit of a... All right, there we go. We'll do that one. Okay. So we're going to... there's the longsword. We're going to target the longsword. We're going to get in range behind him. To kind of would be the best way to initiate combat. The only thing about going behind him means that we probably won't disable his turrets or his weapons immediately. Right, let's try this now. As you can see, we've briefly lost tracking. Tracking is back. The grav drive is down, engine is now down, which means I could realistically get behind. Everything is dead on that ship. Now we've got the other bad boy. I don't have any repair parts on me, sadly, which is kind of weird. Or no, did I? Actually, no, I think I did. Yeah. So as you can see, like, it's definitely going to give you the edge on extreme, and if you have a ship kitted specifically for combat, it'll definitely get the job done. But it's not going to kind of allow you to walk through, you know, like, locations on extreme. It's clearly, like, on normal, obviously completely different. Like, if we actually just bump it down to normal real quick, we'll just kind of show off how it kind of acts. And then, but all in all, this is like a really, really like this mod. I'm a really big fan of it. Just because I mean, EM turrets are something I didn't think I really needed, because usually I didn't really worry too much about EMs to begin with. Like, as you can see, on normal, you're probably honestly better off having the turrets facing behind you. There's the grav drive, shields, engines. We're gonna flip. And immediately grav drive down on that. Missiles are down. See, one of the only things I can't tell in-game stats, I think I would have to ask the mod author, is I don't know if certain ones are going to be more accurate than others. Because if there is ones that are more accurate than others, obviously you'd want to go for the more accurate ones. As you can see, that ship is still disabled, but it still has its weapons. Alright, it's lost almost all its weapons. There you go. Weapons are down. It's dead in the water. Let me put these in. There we go. What's kind of funny is, even though when you disengage the ship's engines, it can still roll. Like, it will still roll to follow me, which is a weird one. Because you would think that, like, reactor realistically should be one you can disable. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Awesome mod. I would highly recommend it. Obviously, there's some bugs with the UI on Xbox. Hopefully the mod author fixes that. But that's pretty much it. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.